DJ Vlad actually apologized to the girl after what happened.
Thank you.
If Vlad felt like he wanted to apologize, good for him. I'm not mad at it.
I think he should have.
I'm not mad at anybody who apologized.
Do y'all see?
He said that he was going to report her to her university for being racist, essentially, because she said that he needs to stay out of this affair.
I thought this whole exchange was foolish.
Corny on both sides.
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, because here's the thing. Go back to the beginning. You know, Vlad tweets out, Kendrick's Not Like Us needed a better mix. It takes away from the song. Now, let me just give y'all a little context, and I know people don't know this. Before DJ Vlad was the DJ Vlad y'all know now, DJ Vlad was a producer. DJ Vlad is known on the West Coast. He's from the Bay, if I'm not mistaken. So that type of music, that West Coast slaps like that, that's totally his shit. So him saying it needs a better mix, it's like saying like the song needs a better mix. That's like technical,
it's a technical
engineer production stuff.
Yeah.
Salute to the sister, what's her name? Morgan Jenkins. I guess she used to be a professor at Columbia University. She's clearly some type of professor, well-educated woman.
Princeton.
She said, you are white. This is a black folk affair. This is what
No, it's not.
It's not, because number one...
Drake is half white.
Drake is definitely half white and Jewish, just like Vlad is white and Jewish. So it's not just a black folk affair. But he's talking about music, man. Like, he's talking about a record. He's talking about the sound quality and production of a record.
Can we look at this lady for a second? I don't even think this lady's black. I don't believe it.
She's black. I
don't believe her, yo.
She's a real person.
I don't believe this.
She's a real person.
Jerkins?
It just seems
Jerkins is pretty...
Oh, it's Jerkins. I'm sorry.
She's dark. Allegedly, she's Dark Child's niece.
Oh, yeah, Rodney Jerkins' niece. Yeah. So therefore, she's a producer, so she should understand production. But my whole thing is like...
white. This is a black folk affair.
Yeah, just don't turn... There's no need to turn this into a race issue.
You're right.
Like, there's absolutely no need. And there's something else I want to talk about when it comes to hip-hop. Do you know that 70% of hip-hop consumers are white?
You're welcome.
Yep.
Oh, God.
70%. This is an actual
really are welcome.
factual number.
You really are welcome.
70% of all hip-hop consumers are white. So if we start telling white people to stay out of hip-hop, people aren't the multimillionaires that they are. They're not the billionaires that they are.
I'll be honest.
Hip-hop don't have the cultural influence it has over the world without those 70% of white people.
And if it's 70% white, it's really ours.
No, that's not true.
It is.
You're a true American.
No, it is ours. Like,
no, y'all are the biggest consumers of it.
Yeah, but y'all should really just keep your mouth shut about it.
You're a true American.
This is a white affair.
That was very...
This is a white affair. This is not a black folk affair.
I think her saying that was just because in the moment of Kendrick dropping Not Like Us, it was a victory lap, not only for Kendrick, but for the West Coast. And in a way, black people were just so hyped that her saying, like, we don't want to hear nothing negative about Kendrick.
This is what I want. I understand.
We're celebrating.
I understand.
This is some shit they teach at universities where, like, white people are synonymous with all the oppression that has happened in the world. And they've created this, like, intellectual justification for dehumanizing whiteness. So anybody that's white, you can just silence or tell to shut the fuck up. You learn these things at universities, and it's like an interesting, like, thought experiment on universities. She's speaking in a way to a group of people that she would never speak about a Chinese person in this way, or Asians in that way, or Indians in that way. So this is just like a symptom of like a larger problem.
Schulz, relax.
I'm not Vlad. You know that. I'm not Vlad.
But here's the thing. I will say this. I want people to remember who they are. And what I mean by that is Morgan Jerkins is a professor, or she was a professor at Princeton, but I'm sure she would probably want to have tenure somewhere else. I want somebody like her to remember who she is. And even if you see a statement like this from Vlad, keep that in your group chat.
You're right.
You don't have to say that. You don't have to say that on social media, because the only reason Vlad reacted like this to Morgan is because he sees that Morgan is somebody who has something to lose. That's why he can Princeton.
Yeah, he did some Karen shit.
He did some Karen shit, and that's why people are really mad. This little conversation could have happened, and it would have been like a moment, but it wouldn't have been as much as a moment if people didn't feel like, look at him going against.
But why are you mad? But why are we mad at Vlad for being Vlad?
Both of them did some Karen shit.
Vlad is a punching bag. He is a punching bag online. Everybody attacks him for being a vulture, whether or not you agree.
But doesn't everybody do that to everybody that's half white or white within the culture? That happens to every day.
Exactly.
Yes,
But I mean,
because we've made it acceptable.
I can understand him being a little sensitive to it when it happens to him.
What Morgan should have started this off with the way she responded to when Vlad said, wait, so a professor at Princeton is telling me that a white person shouldn't be allowed to voice their opinion about hip hop. Is that how you interact with your students? Morgan says, what I'm saying is you put your opinion in a discussion that's not needed. This conversation is and should center black people, not you.
Why?
I mean, because she's a professor. She has to protect her interests.
What I'm saying is, why should it center around black people?
Oh,
And not him.
listen.
He is a person that has dedicated his entire life to hip hop culture and music. He should be able to have an opinion on this.
I don't disagree, especially being that all he's
It's
doing is
just
talking about production.
But the fact that she feels so confident
What's the next
to tell
one,
him
Phil?
to be quiet despite all of his
Well, that's just Twitter rhetoric. The whole "you are white, this is a black" thing.
Yeah.
That's literally you see that so much on Twitter. Like that's common Twitter rhetoric.
Yeah.
She's not a common person. That's why I don't want to see professors at high levels of education
But this is
talking like regular Twitter people.
But they teach this at high levels of education. That's how it enters Twitter. This is what's taught at the universities. This is no. It's not about whether you know or not. The intersectionality, these like philosophies that are taught in the universities have basically created a system where whiteness is an oppressive force, and it stands for this all the historical pain, at least in the last several hundred years, that non-white people have gone through, and any whiteness is responsible for it. Therefore, you can dehumanize people based on that whiteness.
What universities are doing that? I've never sat through a class like that.
Me neither.
I mean,
Ever.
have you?
My school is top 10 most diverse schools. They've never paid. I hear that narrative online.
Right.
But in actual education system, they're trying to remove African American history and the truth, period. I see narratives that you're talking about online, but
You don't think that they teach about intersectionality in universities in America?
I think they teach that, but I don't think the narrative that you're saying is a narrative.
This
No,
is
in Florida, that is
This is
exactly
an
what they're doing.
This is an
and-
extension of intersectionality.
In Florida, what's the?
No, at all the
It's
Ivies.
slipping my mind.
This is what they're teaching in all the Ivies.
I know it's slipping my mind. What is it called though? Oh, what was it?
No,
The critical
race theory.
All the people that are anti-critical race theory, that's one of their biggest things.
It's- I'll be honest with you, this even spills into the Israel-Palestine discussion, because I think that a lot of people that are viewing it are viewing Jews because they only know Jews from Seinfeld. They think all Jews are like these white people, and they think all Palestinians are brown people. So they're looking at the discussion, a lot of people, I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people, as this white oppressive force on an indigenous brown people. What they don't realize is that there are Jews that are from this area that are also brown. There are Jews from Yemen. There are Jews from Morocco. There are Jews from all these different, they are brown, they're black Jews that are also in Israel as well. But when you view it through this lens, and this type of philosophy is taught at the university level in America, and I'm sure in the West in general, when you view it through the lens as white colonizer and brown oppressed person, of course you're going to vilify the white person because that's what you've been taught. That whiteness is essentially bad and responsible for your pain.
Listen, I'm all for vilifying white people when necessary. This isn't one of those times. This isn't the time. Like, there was no need to vilify Vlad in this moment, And then she says, semester's over, my contract has been completed, but thanks for trying to bully me out of a job for centering black people because you got your feelings hurt. Very retaliatory, nice tactic. Well, some could say you tried to bully Vlad out of his opinion.
Of course.
You know what I mean? By pulling the white card.
He overdid it, but what she did was corny.
And listen, and I'm with you, but we gotta stop saying people overdid it, and I'll tell you why. I always tell you, you can't tell folks how to react. I think Kendrick and Drake overdid it.
Sure.
But who am I to tell them that they shouldn't have gone to hell on each other? Sometimes it's okay to leave people the fuck alone.
Also, what Morgan said, like, you guys feel like y'all haven't heard. Maybe she shouldn't have brought it to Twitter because she's a professor, but that is definitely something that's being said in conversations.
Dude, my wife went to NYU Business School. A black student told a white teacher to stop talking about a subject because it had to do with blackness, and the teacher just stopped.
Right.
What the fuck is happening? The student just went, "You're not black, you shouldn't talk about this," and the teacher was like, okay.
What is the subject, though?
I'm not exactly sure what it was. But my point is, there's a power dynamic. These are all like reflections of power dynamics. But now there's a power dynamics, and the white teachers are terrified that they're going to get in trouble, they're going to be called racist, that they're going to be,
that
stepping out of bounds.
And more than just race too, by the way. That happens with sexuality, everything.
This is a function of this philosophy that they're teaching at the university level in America. And then these kids, they go take these ideas and they think it's gospel. They're like, oh, not only do they think it's gospel, they have like hubris attached, that they're like, I'm smarter than everybody because now I understand this. So I'm going to bestow this wisdom upon the world. And they don't really understand the reality of what they're talking about and the real world applications of this. Like, there are people that are Asian that struggle, and there are people that are Asian that are oppressed. There are white people that are being oppressed, and there are white people that are oppressors. There are black oppressors, and there are black oppressed.
I think it just depends on the lens you're looking through.
Absolutely.
But,
yes, you're right.
But in this,
I'm not even exaggerating. That's why I wrote this book.
right.
And like literally, I wrote this book because of exactly what you just said, because what we're doing is we're blocking each other from having even conversations. Like, I would rather have a discussion with you than just tell you shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and if you do feel like that, Miss Jerkins, if she feels like, Vlad shouldn't be in these conversations, give me a better reason than just because I'm white.
Well,
especially when it's not we're not talking race.
I love that.
I'm just talking about music.
What if she was like, Vlad, I've seen the music you've mixed in your life. You're horrible at this.
Shut the fuck up.
Nothing about it. You know what the internet would say?
Yes.
Damn right. Great point, etc.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe the internet would say nothing because it's too nuanced.
Yes.
The internet might react even more to like a very low-hanging fruit argument, like just shut up, hey, you're a white person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we all want the power to silence others that we disagree with.
And can we flip it? Vlad, I saw people saying Vlad is only doing this because she's a black woman. No. Vlad did this because she's a professor at Princeton, and Vlad knows there's somebody he could or somebody he could contact to get this woman in some trouble. He even says this to her. Go to the next slide. The next slide, he literally says to her.
Don't try to change your words now. I'll be reaching out to Princeton.
It's the next one. Oh, no, Vlad said, good luck being a professor at Princeton again. I doubt the university supports their faculty telling non-black students to shut the fuck up about anything hip-hop related because of their skin color. Morgan says, make it a little bigger, Taylor, which is not even what I said. I find it funny that you specifically chose to respond to me, belittle my academic background, and threaten my job when others responded to you in much harsher ways. Very interesting and telling, but you got it. Now, Vlad goes, this is exactly what you said. You're just backtracking now. I never belittled your academic background, just the opposite, actually. I'm pointing out that someone claiming to represent a top Ivy League university should be held to a higher standard. You're threatening your own job by publicly spewing bigotry or representing Princeton in your bio. I responded to you, and this is very important, because all the other responses are from trolls and fake accounts. You may want to think about getting a burner account like all the other bigots do. That's how they keep from getting fired, LOL. That is very true. That's why I say we have to remember who we are in these situations and in these circumstances. You can't just be on Twitter tweeting like regular idiots tweet, because you're not a regular idiot.
Exactly.
In no way, shape, or form. The only reason Vlad even responded to her is because she's a professor at Princeton.
And there was something for her
That's
to lose.
it.
Yeah.
If she was Morgan Jerkins with nothing in her bio, he didn't know what she did or anything like that, he would have ignored it like he ignored everything else. The fact she's a professor at Princeton is what made him reply like that.
My suspicion is that in her circles, even the intellectual circles, saying something like that is sufficient. And she would get no pushback, nothing from faculty, nothing from staff. And when you're around and surrounded by that type of, I wouldn't even call it intellectual community, that type of like almost sycophantic community or fearful community, of course you get the courage to go and message someone that on a public platform that will exist forever. Like, you have to have a level of delusion to think that's okay. Like,
I think she was just excited.
But a lack of understanding of history too.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you as someone who was around for the beginning of hip hop, what did every hip hop artist and label want in the first 10 years of hip hop? Badly.
Good music, production, good mixes.
Beastie Boys?
White fans.
Oh, yeah. Listen.
White audience.
70%.
That was the biggest struggle, was to find they wanted the rock audience. Rock dominated the cultural landscape. Everything Run DMC did in the beginning, if you go back and watch the videos for Rock Box, King of Rock, little blonde kids winking and smiling and, It was all to try to encourage white people to listen to the music and come into the music. That was the entire strategy.
Look at this, man. This abstract. I think is the study called abstract. I'm not sure.
So it's like, hey, we want the white dollar, but shut up about your opinions. Once I buy it, I got an opinion.
You got an opinion.
If it's a restaurant and I eat the food and I go, well, I would actually shut up, white boy. What the fuck is going on over here? I bought the
If you go
food.
to a Jamaican spot, they do that to everybody, to be fair.
But they're
by the way,
offenders.
the ruder people are in the Jamaican spot, the better
the food, because they know what time it is.
Look at this. This study explores why young white suburban adults are consumers and fans of hip-hop music, considering it is a black cultural art form that is specific to African Americans. While the hip-hop music industry is predominantly black, studies consistently show that over 70% of its consumers are white. So listen, I'm not mad at Professor Jerkins for saying, hey, the customer is not always right. Okay? But
they are the customer.
They are the customer.
And they can have an opinion.
My biggest thing is it had nothing to do with race. It had nothing to do with race. It was about a mix. It had nothing to do with race in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I think at the core of it, it had nothing to do with race, but people definitely felt a way about the you always rapping like you trying to free the slaves bar and having his white mom intro the record with
What that got to do with Vlad?
Blame Kendrick for all this.
I'm saying
Kendrick started all climate.
Because that occurred, black people were triggered. So I think start like a...
They don't want to hear Vlad say no more.
No, right now, none of y'all can say it because I'm mad about the...
By the way, Vlad has never said it, but that's just my new way of saying they don't want to hear from white people right now.
Yeah,
they don't want to hear you say no more.
I think that's what it was. I think people were triggered from the Free the Slaves bar and the nigga I said it.
We don't want to hear y'all opinion about swimming, but we'll listen to it. We'll listen to it. We're not going to say, shut up, stop talking about swimming.
We got any more bills
But if you out here talking about Michael Phelps was slow in the back, shut up.
We got any more bills to pay.
But you should be entitled to talk about Michael Phelps, even though y'all can't do a stroke at all. You know what I mean? But we all should be entitled to talk about it.
We got any more bills to pay?